Because we do have all this access to media and this kind of thing, and it is fairly likely that in most cases the best options are going to be generated and encouraged early on. Those people don't have any kind of special treatment, and the polity doesn't say, well, we're going to make sure that if we give a tiny dissident minority special attention and access, that we're going to give you any. So there has to be a constraint on this. Well, it's not that difficult, though. As soon as a dissident minority gains enough momentum that they are going to be acknowledged by the economy and they are going to be given access, which is going to happen, because the economy is never going to say, this is against our interests. This idea is against our interests. Even things like balanced job complexes being challenged. No, the economy doesn't have a way to care about that. The economy can only respond to actual inputs. It can't respond to ideology because there's no enough control to have their opinions say, oh, well, this offends my sensibilities.
Well, not only that, but nobody's going to want to spend their entire life working hard doing something that has absolutely no meaning. So.
Okay, I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
because that's the question I
raised,
a given.
I
realize that nobody's. I mean, you're not going to have millions of people
right.
to put out dissident papers advocating bullshit.
But you might, and I don't see why not. I don't see why personally. I'm not even sure that this isn't something that wouldn't appeal to me. I mean, I might want to be. I mean, look at it. This is what I do. I do dissent. If we suddenly win. And I want a job, I want something that I have skills in, which so far has only been raising hell. So I might go and I might be like, okay, so we won, and my political vision ideas are now everywhere in sight, and I still might go, well, I want to go over and see what these guys are thinking. What are they generating? I don't see why not. It's a wonderful part of democracy is that when dissidents are given attention and actually given respect. And on occasion, they're actually going to be right. And on occasion, they're going to prove that this makes sense, this kind of function. And that's what's going to maintain their value. That's when we're going to recognize, 50 times out of 51, these people are the people that are given attention by these special institutions are completely off their rocker. But once in a while, they come up with something incredible, and because that was guaranteed access, we all realized that, and it did change something. So that's going to be recognized, in a political or the economy may not recognize that on its own.
But we don't even want balanced job complexes to be completely sacred, because that might not always make sense.
Yes, we do.
Well, we want wait.
I'll give you say there are a specific group of surgeons who are highly skilled, and there's some massive outbreak and everyone's dying. We're not going to be like, that's all empowering work you're doing as a surgeon. That's
already incorporated in the economic system. But hypothetically, let's say that someday we decide the balanced job complex isn't the way to go, and we'll get to this as strategy. But the political system is not the place that the changes are made. Right? They're made within the economy. So that's not. Right. The economy has to have its own structures for guarantee that it can mold with social opinion. Yeah, right. Yeah, he has to have an answer for that one. What we also want to identify when we talk about information, before we move on to the education part of this, free speech and self-management may be the two key factors, the two key elements in a society or in a community that another community is going to look at when they say, we want to affiliate with you in some sort of federated manner. So when we're talking about building those sort of next level polities that incorporate multiple communities or multiple regions, etc., they may not have to do everything exactly the same. They certainly won't have to agree on everything, but the guarantee that people in those societies have information, have access to information, and free education and free communications, and that they have self-management, regardless of what they do with those. See, this is what I want to highlight here, is that what you do with the information is one thing, if you have the ability to do it through democratic structures, and you have, a breadth of information. This could be one of the key factors. The way societies and communities set up their information systems may be the criteria that other societies and other communities are going to judge them by. Any comments on this stuff so far?
Just as a tactic, one of the things that might work would be to have just these open and controlled forums where anything goes and anybody can say anything they want. And then if you find a dissident is getting a lot of attention, at that point, that might be the point at which you subsidize them or whatever. Mm-hmm. I mean, then
or that even the opinion exists.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, kind of as part of what you were saying earlier, I think it's really important for us to incorporate structures where there can be like the idea of the dialectic, like to not necessarily opposing ideas, but coming closer to the truth. But because we don't want to have our ideas just like in a vacuum and they're never being, challenged. And I do think that there's certain things that we do hold sacred. But one of the things that's such a problem now is that certain people are controlling what they hold sacred, and anything that challenges that is suppressed. And I feel like we don't want to repeat that. So I think it's really important for us to incorporate dialectic type stuff.
Cool. Speaking of which, education. So if guarantee of free speech and sort of access to information is going to be a major component of the political system when it comes to media, what about education? Same thing?
More so.
Come on, yell it out. Yeah, more so?
More so.
Okay.
I think you'd want people, because if you have a group of people that are more educated, then you're less likely to get into situations where people want to be dissidents for dissidents' sake, or like just to come out with some crackpot idea just for the sake of doing it. If you have the respect for knowledge, you're going to come with what you think is the best idea all the time because you respect the fact that you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like scientific theory. You know what I mean? Like you don't have scientists that fund. Well, that's wrong. You do have scientists that fund projects, but okay. Well, I think education's a better idea anyway because it would help us.
He's going to backtrack to something.
Yeah. Let me finish my own conversation. I'll be back.
Right on. Well, anyway, so the guarantee of access to educational opportunities, and the guarantee of every idea that comes up about we want to educate, we want to offer this as something that will educate people on. That kind of stuff can get funded as well, even when it's very, very minority. So it's a very similar approach to the media, and possibly even just looking at it as another form of media in some instances.
So we should fund we should have classes that are like pro-capitalist and stuff like that in an educational setting.
Well,
Nobody will go, but
nobody will go. Yeah, I don't know how this will play out and what certain things we will, but when there is, I don't see why not.
Just because you learn about something doesn't mean you subscribe to it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I doubt you'll have many people who are going to want to teach pro-capitalism.
Right. Our free association principle is kicking in here, and we're going, and well, actually, this is really, but that's really important. The free association thing comes in way when we talk about, you all right there, Tim? When we talk about educational opportunities and that kind of thing.